Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about the topic inertia, and we will discuss about how the inertia of an object is related with the mass of that object. In the previous video, while we have discussed about Newton's first law of motion, I will provide the link for that Newton's first law of motion in the description box. If you haven't watched that, you can watch that. Okay. So while we have discussed about Newton's first law of motion, we have seen that when we stand in a bus and the bus begins to move suddenly, we tend to fall backwards. The passengers tend to fall forward when a moving bus stops suddenly. When a motor car makes a sharp turn at a high speed, we tend to get thrown to one side. Right. All these examples say that there is a resistance offered by an object to change its state of motion. If the object is at rest, it tends to remain at rest. If it is moving, it tends to keep moving. This property of an object is called its inertia. That is, inertia is the natural tendency of an object to resist a change in its state of motion. Do all bodies have the same inertia? We all know that it is easier to push an empty box than a box with full of books. Right, here you can see an empty box, and here you can see the same box, the box with the same size, but it is full of books. So it is easier to push an empty box than a box full of books. Why is it so? The mass of the box with full of books is quite large. Right, the mass of the box with full of books is quite large, and that is this one is heavier than this one. Heavier objects have more inertia than lighter objects. That is, inertia of an object depends on its mass. More the mass, more the inertia. So the box with full of books has more mass than the empty box. So this one has more inertia. More inertia means what? It has a greater tendency to remain in its state of rest. So it will be quite difficult to move this heavier box than the lighter box or than the empty box. Okay. Similarly, if we kick a football, it flies away. Right. You consider this as the football. If you kick this football, it flies away. But if you kick a stone of the same size with equal force, it hardly moves. This ball is actually filled with air. You consider this as a football, okay, the same size that of the football. This ball has the same size that of the football, the real football has, okay. And this is the stone which has the same size that of this ball. So if we kick the football, it flies away. But if we kick the stone with the same, stone of the same size with the same force, it hardly moves. The ball is filled with air, so it is very light. But the stone of the same size is heavy, so it has more inertia. That is, the stone has more tendency to stay at rest. Right, so if we apply the same force which is applied on the ball, this stone will not fly away, it hardly moves. That is, clearly heavier or more massive objects offer larger inertia. Inertia of an object is measured by its mass, or we can say that mass of an object is a measure of its inertia. More the mass, more the inertia. So, in this video, we have discussed about inertia and how inertia is related with the mass of an object. I hope you understood this. Thank you.